And then I crush it, tell my girl why I'm so bold. Until she trusts it. I'm like the world inside a snow globe. Rap for the memory.
So yeah, 7th grade football is over. And I learned a lot. I listened to a ton of stories. I watched kids grow and some kids just be 12 and all sorts of things. And what I learned specifically was it is so easy to sort of superimpose your life and your ideals onto your kid and vice versa, right? So oftentimes in this community, the 7th grade team, the junior high team, will go to the high school in the stadium and play. And we'll go out there on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and the varsity team is out there practicing. And like, you get enamored with the varsity team. I'm used to being with the 12 and the 13-year-old kids so much that looking at the varsity kids, it's, oh yeah, this is the show. This is it. These kids are great. We can't compete with these kids. Then I think, well, wait, I already played varsity. I already went away to college to play football. I already accomplished everything that everybody on this field has accomplished. But by identifying with the kids, with my kids, with the 7th grade kids, you start to lose who you are and see the world through their eyes to a certain level of detriment, right? And then the converse actually happened, where I'm expecting the players that are on my team, 12 and 13 years old, to react and act as if I do or I would given a certain situation, right? Like, there's still kids that are afraid to hit. There's still kids that can't catch a cold. You know, there's still kids out there that don't understand what's going on. One kid told us, I don't know, 5th or 6th week into the season, he said, hey, coach, you got a playbook? Because, yeah, I don't know any of the plays. I just been winging it. Just winging it? That's not a thing, man. But at 12 years old, never played football before, he just happy to be out there, just happy to be with the guys, thinks he's doing it. And in his world, he's doing it. We went all the way to the end of the season. In the very, very, very last game, my kid gets kneed in the quad during warmups, right? So he falls down. He's all freaked out. Oh, my God, it's the worst pain ever. I'm grown. I've been through these things. So I'm thinking, hey, suck it up. Take a breath. Let's move forward. Well, he tried to play. He couldn't go. He wound up sitting out until about the 4th quarter. And then he went in and he made a couple good plays. But the look on his, I never could figure out why he was in tears the entire game. What are you dealing with this entire game? Like, play through pain. But that's not a lesson that every kid arrives at the same time. It's not a lesson that everybody 12 or 13 gets to. There's some kids on the team, small kids and big kids, that got hurt that game, that just got, hey, put some tape on it. You got ice. I'm to the house. I got to go back in. I gotta hit somebody. Those kids, the switch has already flipped for them. They understand certain things, right? And my expectation cannot be that every kid's switch has flipped into that route, into that lane, all at the same time, right? And there is a level of frustration that you have to check as an adult, right? There is a level of embarrassment. I'm standing on the sidelines talking to my kid, and in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, these people in the stands are watching me, and this kid's not going in and he's not playing. And can they tell? Am I a horrible parent because he's not living up to the potential that I expect him to be living up to, because I have already ascended to that level? And it's just not fair, right? You have a lot of guys that are just living their dreams through their kids. And it's like, bro, you weren't even about that life. And now this kid's got to wake up at 6 a.m. and do all the workout because your expectation is that he will be great, because you want him to be great because it looks good on you, right? I had to ask my guy, hey, what's your deal, man? Do you think that I'm mad? And his answer was, well, yeah. So I don't think I've given off any expectation or any expression that I'd be upset, but that's his reality. That's his reality. I'm mad because you can't play. And I say the same thing all the time to all the kids. I already played all my downs. I played all my games. I've done all the things that I'm supposed to do. There's no more games for me. So this is for you. This is for you to excel or quit or move on to a different sport. You can't make me feel better about me because of your, situation and your accomplishments. So we had to dispel that. Was he afraid the other team was bigger and faster and stronger? Maybe, right? That's an adult, very mature ideology to sort of look at it and go, well, I'm a competitor. Regardless of who's in front of me, I will compete, right? My idea is I will find a way to win. And that's all competitors, right? That's all athletes. I'm going to figure out a way to win. You're not better than me. But that's not the reality for prepubescent kids playing in a league where half the kids are they have grown, they have hit puberty, right? And the other half are still waiting on that growth spurt. Can you imagine? I'm 6'3". I could never imagine playing a guy that's 10 feet tall, right? And for the proportions, that's what it is. You got kids out there legitimately my height, not as big, right? Skinny kids, but legitimately my height. And then you have kids out there 4'8", and they got to go against each other. And so I think that's one lesson that I learned is to honor where your kids are. Meet them where they're at. Each one of the kids, especially coaching, right? We had 46 kids. They're not all the same. There were super athletes on that team. There was guys with heart. There was kids that just were out there. There was kids that were special needs. There were kids, that just wanted to wear the jersey in the hallway for whatever reason. We still had kids that were essentially, looking at the plane flying over or following, the ball or seeing where the flowers are growing. Essentially, that's what's going on, thinking they did a great job because they didn't get knocked down. But at this level, meet your kid where they're at. And I think that's a lesson that is a continual process because as they grow, so will I, right? They're never going to catch up to me. If I got a kid that's 13 and I'm 49, no matter how he ages, right? When 10 more years, he's 23, but now I'm 59. So I learn new lessons. And it's always imperative to understand that meeting your kid where he's at is the appropriate action. There is no embarrassment in this is where he is, right? I know I felt like, my God, my kid's a sucker and it's embarrassing. Like I'm a tough guy. And how is it possible that this is the kid that I produce? This is the kid that I manage. This is the kid that I've grown and parented, and this is all the better we can do. I mean, maybe he's going to be like that his entire life. I don't know. But the reality is my accomplishments and my problems, right? My issues and my fears and my demons, they're not his. And as a parent, I have to be able to separate between the two. What are things that I need to work on for me, and what are things that we need to work on for him? And so a common question I ask when we're giving gifts or when we're saying, hey, I'll come help, is this for me or for you? You're saying you're going to come over here and help me make sandwiches. Is that for me or for you? Do I need help, or are you coming over here because you want to feel good about doing something? Now, you may still be able to do it, but you have to be able to identify what your motivation is. Am I parenting this kid to be tough because that's the best thing for him? Or is it because that's the type of kid that I want? And those are two completely different things, right? Is it for me or for him? And so I have to see him as an individual and see the capabilities that he has and what he's good at, how he rolls, how does he run through life. I give him guidance and structure, and I do the best thing that I can do for making him, giving him the lessons that he's going to need to be able to navigate through the world. But making him into the person that I want him to be, that's not my job. And we especially fathers, right? We're big on that. You have to have enough humility as a dad that you're able to look and find the difference between, are you doing this for him or are you doing this for you, right? And if you're doing it for yourself, then the reality is you have things that you need to work on for you. And you can't use your child as a vessel to be able to work on yourself. You have to actually work on yourself. Can't do one thing expecting it to solve something different. And that's just, all there is to it. He wants to wrestle. He plays lacrosse. He plays baseball. I don't play baseball, but that's like a sport he loves, right? I don't play lacrosse. I can't even really play catch with him. I don't know how to work the stick. You know what I'm saying? But he likes it. And so now I got to learn all the lessons and the rules and try to figure everything out because that's what he likes. And if it were up to me, he'd play football and basketball and maybe run some track, and I would know all of the ins and outs of all those things, but it's not up to me. It's up to him. My job is to offer him all of the things, and I can hope that he picks the things that I like or the things that I value. But if I'm offering him these things in hopes, right, that he only chooses the things that I like, then am I actually offering him things for him to join into? I'm not. I'm exposing him to things because I want to say, well, I've exposed him to everything and he just loves me, right? And the truth is, I want a relationship with him. I want a close relationship. Like we've seen Jerry Maguire and at the end, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom Cruise are hugging, and then you pan over to the other agent, Bob Sugar. Like, why come we don't have a relationship like that, right? And then there's an awkward hug. Like, I don't want to be the awkward hug guy. I want to be the real one. This is for real. I'm here. You love me. I love you. I'm looking out for you. You're looking out for me. All of those things. That's what I want. And you don't get that every single day. There's resentment back and forth, but you have to continue as a father, continue to push that narrative. And remember, what are you working for? I'm working for him to be the best version of himself. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And hopefully along the road, right, we build a relationship and we find things to bond over. And if we have to find things to bond over that are not natural for me, right? If they're unnatural for me, then my job as the person, I chose to be in his life, not the other way around. My job is then to figure everything out, right? Like we went to a wrestling meeting last night because he wants to wrestle. I don't know any of the rules. I know put the guy on his back. That's as much as I know. I don't know the points. So now my job is to learn everything that I can learn to be a resource and a cheering section. And that's it. And maybe we bond over that because we drive to all these different meets and competitions and tournaments and whatnot. I don't know, but it is imperative that we realize the separation between jumping into our kids' lives and trying to meld into one thing and putting our, wishes and hopes and dreams onto that kid before we understand what theirs are. But anyway, tonight, high school football. We're going to go to that and bond over that. And I am going to remember that I already played varsity. I'm going backwards, not forwards, backwards, not forward. They're not celebrities to me because I'm grown. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you out there. Don't hurt anybody. Keep parenting.
I'm all up in the front and I'm managing beer. And with my toothpick twizzlers and my cap turned back. Shell toe Adidas with that hat to match a nigga. White tee stay crisp and push pause on your motherfucking history. Hey, and Max so ill. These niggas even feel it. I'm a